Hi, everyone. Welcome back. It's week 50, Jason. Which week are we in now?
Start to lose count after so many of them, right? We're in these dog days right now. It's like I think we're week 18. I'm not sure.
Sure.
Yeah,
Let's call it week 18. Well, we're gonna look it up.
yeah.
Don't listen to the video part. We're gonna look it up and we'll put the right thing in the banner. But yeah, at a certain point, I'm just when we start labeling the videos internally, I'm just like ww dot. I don't know what we're doing anymore. So before we get into our waiver wire picks, I did want to tell you while we were doing a lot of our debate that we do internally before we start the show, we try to come up with names that are under owned. I have the biggest fear in the world of mispronouncing names. I do. It's something that annoys me when people mispronounce my names. So I try to pronounce names right. And this week we have a lot of hard to pronounce names. So I'm going to just let you know now. I'm probably going to butcher them. Not that I didn't try. I listened to videos. I did a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, I'm just going to mess it up. I'm sorry, Jason. I'm just letting you know that right now. I apologize.
Nothing to apologize, man. It happens.
So we're back. I'm Dapscout. Jason Beckner or JR Becks is joining me again. Thank you, sir, for coming back. I know that sometimes we aren't making it lately because we're just so wanted everywhere. That's what I want to think, right? That you and I are just busy schedules. As always, we're brought to you by Fantasy Six Pack. Come on down, become a subscriber for Fantasy Six Pack. We have the #1 most accurate rankers for fantasy baseball. So you can still use us for this post All-Star break push that you're going to make in all your leagues and hopefully help drive you to the top. And then, of course, you can come to our Discord as well and interact with myself, Jason, and all of our analysts, ask questions, have us do roster looks, maybe have a second opinion on your trades. And, of course, we have a special running right now for our fantasy football as well. The special runs for all our sports. That's why it's called Six Pack. Yeah, so you can come on down and sign up now to become a subscriber. So let's kick off our waiver wire as we do every week by hitting you over the head and saying, why haven't you picked this guy up? This week we have Alex Kirilloff. And the reason I'm looking away for a second is because I'm trying to think of a nice way to put Alex Kirilloff. He's a monster, right? The guy has so much power, but he also has a wrist that just doesn't like to stay healthy, along with other things. I mean, he gets excited, he gets you excited, he tantalizes you, he destroys the baseball like he's angry at it, and then he goes on the IL. And it just, but at the same time, we know in fantasy baseball that you need to ride hot streaks. And anytime Alex Kirilloff basically is off the IL, it's a hot streak most of the time. So we're going to highlight a tweet here talking about Alex Kirilloff from Parker Hagman, who has just a fantastic Twitter account. Absolutely follow him at Hagman Parker. So he talked about something specific in the change in Alex Kirilloff when he's come back. So Alex Kirilloff used video of Aaron Judge and Kerry Carpenter to adjust his mechanics. So since the start of the Seattle series, this is a little for about a week ago, he was starting his leg kick earlier, and he has two videos side by side, right at the beginning of the release point. And so from pre-July 17th, he had about an 88 mile an hour exit velocity with about a 9-degree launch angle and a .416 slugging percentage. Post-July, so when this change came in, 92 mile an hour exit velocity, 22.8 degree launch angle, and an 800 plus slugging percentage. So yeah, I'm totally cool with that. This is also talked about in the Star Tribune as well. So he can hit home runs. He's not in a home run, let's say, friendly ballpark. And, it's not looking like amazing in the last 7 games, right? So 179 average, 393 slugging percentage. That's not what we want. But if you look at the last 15 games, right, everybody can hit a kind of a low point. 4 home runs, 15 RBIs, only 20 strikeouts for 297, almost 300 on-base percentage, and a 576 slugging. That absolutely, considering we're in the kind of slow periods in Major League Baseball, where you have a lot of injuries, you're trying to grab who you can, he's going to pick it up. As long as he stays healthy, you can just mark him down and put him in your lineup, because especially if you're in a 4 outfield league, Alex Kirilloff needs to be in your lineup, no problem. 3 outfield, probably most likely you can kind of, especially if it's daily, daily lineups, you can probably put him on your bench / start him, back and forth. But for me, I picked him up in a whole bunch of leagues last week, and I am starting him this week, no matter what. I know that if I bench him, Alex and I don't have a great relationship because every time I bench him, he hits home runs. So I'm going to just start him, and just know that at some point I'm going to be right because I can't pick it. Jason, tell me some more good stuff about Alex Kirilloff.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed a lot of stuff on the head. When he's healthy, he's very efficient. Hits the ball hard, got a good hard hit rate when healthy. A lot of those downtimes kind of skew those stats, but
right.
It's got about a 20% home run to fly ball ratio. Just does a really good job of spraying the ball all over the field. And even if the Twins want to somehow maybe give him into a platoon situation, he's on the strong side of the platoon. Right now, he's only owned in 24% of the league. So to be available in 75% of those leagues out there is kind of a crime at this point. Get him in there now while you can, while he's healthy. He will produce for you, at least for batting average.
Right. Well,
and then the power will be there too.
Right. Yeah. That's the thing. Put him in while you can. I don't like to root against people. So, he's not in Oakland A's, but I love watching people who are at the top of their talents, and it just sucks that he kind of gets injured so much. I hope they figure it out and add an extra brace or make his swing less violent, whatever it is, to just keep him in there longer, because it's definitely best for baseball. All right. I am trying my best to avoid having to do this. I'm going to butcher this. Okay. The first name that I am going to try my best, and I listened. Jason, I did. I showed you the videos. I tried. Hyun Jin Ryu. Yes.
There you go.
All right. Why are we highlighting him? Because he's about to be off this injured list. And again, dog days of summer. We're at a point where basically, if it's a warm body and it's playing for a pretty good team and it's going to throw some strikes, you probably want to start him. And, Ryu has been out for a while. Tommy John surgery can do that for you as well. But it's been kind of a fun last couple of weeks, shall we say, especially, on the 25th, Fabian Ardea on Twitter. The Dodgers were doing a tribute video for Ryu, who's back in town with the Blue Jays while he was rehabbing from Tommy John surgery. So I thought that was really cool. Even though he's not even playing, the Dodgers kind of went out of their way to just kind of play a tribute video as well. And Mike Wilner as well he has a great Twitter handle, Wilderness, also was saying that, everybody knows that he's starting this Tuesday. So that's going to be in 4 days from today. We're doing this on Saturday. He's going to be starting against the Orioles. I don't know if I would necessarily start him against the Orioles. I don't care if he plays at home or at Baltimore. That might be one of those just kind of bench and see type things. But I do want to kind of call out a little bit more about what we're going to be getting here. So if we go to pitcher list always does a great job of kind of ranking where injured players will be, or injured pitchers will be ranked once they come back. And they have Ryu in the 70 to 80. So top 70 or 80 starting pitchers. If you get a top 70, 80 starting pitcher basically for free, a lot of people still haven't picked him up off the waivers because, again, he still shows injured or, not starting or against the Orioles. You've got to pick him up. There's just no reason behind it. Now, I get it, right? His last couple seasons haven't been stellar. Let's skip 2022 because obviously we have some injuries there as well. But 2021, 169 innings pitched with about a 7.62 Ks per nine with about a 2 walk rate. He's not the pitcher that he used to be, but then again, he's almost 30. He's 36 years old. What I would expect for him when he comes back is probably a pitcher around an 8 to 9 Ks per nine. I will hope. And somebody that's going to be probably able to go 5-6 innings. We're looking at a team in Toronto that's looking to stay, competitive in the AL East. Definitely has the hitters around him. So if he can keep that ball in the park, which he's been able to do throughout, his career, except for, last year, 2021, his last full season, he should be able to start racking up some wins for you as well. Yes, he's not going to probably help you a ton in your case, but he should help you with whip, and he should help you again with the wins as well. I'm a believer in he needs to be added because of just where we are in the season and because of what else is available on the waiver wires. This wouldn't be somebody I'd be going out and maybe grabbing, at the start of the season as my top priority pick. But if pitcher list has somebody at 70, 80 in the top 70, 80 pitchers, I don't know how you don't grab them in even a 4-start, 5-starter league. So, Jason, I know I sound a little bit like I'm hedging here because it's not a stellar strikeout guy. I love my strikeouts and I love my control guys. Tell me some more stuff why I should be loving this guy coming back.
I think just mostly like we said, at the time of year now where any starting pitching is an advantage right now. And Ryu, we've seen him be a pretty decent and, successful pitcher in the major leagues. He relies on a 3-pitch mix of just mostly fastball, changeup, curveball. Relies heavily on that fastball and the changeup. Throws it down and into righties. And for the most part, he's been a double-digit win for his whole career. Right. He's got a really good command, like you mentioned. He's got a .96 career walks per 9. Right now, it's gone up a little bit in the last few seasons. But if you're getting a 1 walk per 9 pitcher in the middle of the season, I'm taking it all day. He uses a lot of weak contact. The K to walk rate looks inflated mostly because of that low walk rate. But again, you can still count. 6 to 8 strikeouts, per 9. That's solid for some guy. Like I said, you're probably getting them for free in your league. Most people are not thinking about Hyun Jin Ryu coming back from.
I was just letting you try.
Slow it down. Make sure I can.
It's okay, man.
But yeah, absolutely. If he's available, which he probably is in your league, absolutely grab him. But again, like you said, do not start him in Baltimore unless you're absolutely desperate.
Yeah.
Let's grab him now, stash him. Let's see how that first start back goes, and then throw him in your next start.
Yep, absolutely. All right, somebody that I couldn't pronounce to somebody I think I'm going to get right. I'm excited. I've been talking about Triston Casas for a while. And, it was one of those things where, especially a couple months ago, we were looking at somebody who had to make a choice. He's such a patient hitter. And you're concerned that he was going to be almost not somebody that was going to be too patient, but somebody that needed to swing more. And he has such a good eye. He's great in on-base percentage leagues, but that we're worried that he's going to become that guy that's going to be like low average, high OBP, high slugging. And then Triston Casas said, you know what? I don't care anymore about you guys. I'm going to just show you that I am just amazing. And he's gone just, I don't even know what metaphor to use here. Right? He's just insanely hot. Every time I turn on, Twitter or anytime I see, an MLB game, he's either hitting a home run or hitting a ball to the wall. That's what he's done. And the thing is, we always expected that. His power in the minors was amazing, legendary, whatever you want to call it. But the stuff he's doing right now is just, it's insane. To the point where I'm just going to if he somehow is in your waivers and you haven't picked him up yet, you're literally handicapping your entire team because you have the answer to everything right there. You have to pick up Triston Casas. Before I get into anything else, if he's on your waiver, pause this video, go pick him up, and then you can come back and you're going to hear, Jason and I talk some more. That's it. Before we get into anything else, just go get Casas. All right. So now that you're back and you unpaused us, let's talk to you a little bit more about why Casas is so awesome. So Cespedes Family Barbecue, love this Twitter account, love the podcast. They posted something yesterday that was amazing. So he shows 2 spray charts. On the left was the 97 home runs that were hit 420 plus feet by left-handed hitters in Oracle Park. Now, if you look at it, and of course I'm not showing it to you, but I'm going to just explain it to you. Everything's poolside, basically dead center, and then everything else is pulled. What Casas did last night, he hit a monster home run that went 435 feet, and it went to left field. Again, this is what Casas does. He has power to everywhere. He has power to every field. He has power at home. He actually, I think, generates power to my neighborhood just because, if we lose power, we just put Casas on in the power grid. I mean, that's how good he is. And just so, again, as well, MLB Pipeline might have slightly touched on how hot he is, right? So 7th home run since the All-Star break, 7th home run since the All-Star break, giving him a 500 batting average, 595 slugging percentage, and a 1.176. This is so crazy. I can't believe I have to say this. OPS. What? I mean, seriously. It's just dumb. The last 7 games, 4 home runs. I mean, I can keep going. I mean, we've seen this, we've seen it in the minors, and it's finally come to fruition, right? We kind of saw it before the All-Star break. We're like, ooh, he's getting hot. Maybe the All-Star break is coming at the wrong time. And Triston Casas is like, nah, just kidding. I'm going to stay hot. I'm going to just stay on here. I can't see how he's not 100% owned. And when we looked up his ownership percentage and take off the dynasty owners, it is just stupidly low because it's not, first off, it's not 100%, which is dumb. It's below 50%, which is ridiculous. I want you, if you happen to watch this video, please tweet me and let me know what leagues you're in where Casas is available on the waivers and invite me to those leagues. I want to join because your league mates are idiots. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be mean, but they're idiots because they haven't added Casas. Are you kidding me? I'm sorry, Jason. I got a little angry. Please calm me down. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, I mean, rightfully so. It's actually, again, criminal. This guy's available in over half the leagues out there. I mean, I can name probably 3 first basemen I'd rather have over him, and that's maybe about it. So the reason for him to be unowned in 50% of leagues is insane. You kind of nailed the head, hammer on the nail on the head. Just super. I think we'll go back to. I think this might be a throwback to like week 1. He's hotter than a pistol right now.
I'm sorry.
That's a throwback.
That's why I should have called you my designated metaphor guy because I couldn't come up with something that was just. I'm sorry, that was awesome. I loved it. Go ahead.
I remember I threw that one out like real early in the series, but yeah, I mean, we talked about it. I thought for sure we talked about this guy a long time ago. Maybe it was just in our personal text message threads, but
right.
Biggest thing with Casas, right, was always he was great. He was hitting doubles, right? He was like scorching the ball, hitting doubles. Well, guess what? Those doubles are now turning into home runs.
Right.
He said it, 7 home runs since the All-Star break. Something else that's those numbers were just absurd. I'll give you one more quick absurd stat. His WRC plus since the All-Star break, 332. That's over 3 times the number that you want anything over 100 is like a good fantasy output. He's 3 times that. So that's just insane. He doesn't really, and another thing too is he doesn't seem to be affected by any type of pitch. He's got a really great approach with the plate. He's hitting over 250 on fastballs, off-speed pitches, and breaking balls. A lot of times the guys, they can hit fastballs, they can't hit changeups or whatever, vice versa. Like, there's always a hole in someone's swing. Right now, he's hitting all types of pitches for over 250. The fact that this guy remains unowned in half leagues is criminal. Like you said, send me that link to that league next year.
And I think some of it too happened to be his defense, in the sense that Durant, who's of course was panned, just and rightfully so, right? He let that double become an infield park home run last year, and that was kind of like the video that was everywhere. Durant needs to be cut. Durant's terrible, and rightfully so. But he really worked on his defense, and it seemed like his defense helped him, and not have to focus on that, and helped him with his offense. Casas was being just tortured everywhere because his defense was bad at first. He was being subbed out, and he didn't have that consistent play. Having that confidence on the other side of the ball, I think, gets your mind off of it. You can focus on your hitting, and we're starting to see that as well. Now, is his defense, the best? No, it's still a work in progress, but you're seeing that him having to work less or think less on that is really helping on the other side of the ball. And I think that's going to just continue if he just gets more playing time. And of course, at this point, does it matter? He'll just hit a home run. I mean, oh no, I gave up a hit. I'll just hit a home run to make up for it. So yeah, pick up Casas. All right. So from that to another top prospect that's been called up, and Sal Frelick is good at baseball. I think, yep. Hold on. Let me just double check my notes. Yep, he is good at baseball. And to just highlight how good at baseball he is, Adam McCulvey at Adam McCulvey on Twitter. Sam Frelick has reached safely 11 times in his first 19 major league plate appearances. And he says, which in my professional opinion is pretty good. Here's the one caveat, just so you know, just to add to his awesomeness. The one time he didn't reach safely, so one of the 8 times he didn't reach safely, was a sacrifice fly. So really, 12 out of 19 have been productive plate appearances. Not bad for a rookie. So Milwaukee's pretty happy with him right now. Is there anything that you kind of don't like in this fantasy profile? Well, let's look at this a little bit. Doesn't look like a big home run guy, right? You know, his highest home run total is 5 in AA and 4 in AAA. So that's not like, oh my God, we just talked about Alex Kirilloff. We talked about Triston Casas. We're not talking about a guy who's going to be Triston Casas here. But that doesn't mean he can't provide a lot of other fun stats. Just to give you an idea, right? In the 6 games he's been up, 6 games, 23 plate appearances. We have 1 home run, 8 runs scored, 3 RBIs, but that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about his triple slash line right now. It's super fun. 438 average, 565 on base percentage, and 688 slugging. Oh my God, that's fun. But, you know, it's probably going to come down, you think? Yeah, maybe. Because he's only hitting 247, 333, and 342 in AAA this year. But again, top prospect, Milwaukee has plenty of playing time available. I don't see how we don't kind of get a guy who's going to be having a great run on the field. What what a lot of prospects reports had said about Frelick is that he has a great hit tool, and it's always been hit over power. So even on Fangraphs and a couple other places as well, he's great at center field. Great defense. If you just search his name on Twitter, you'll see some amazing defensive plays where I think he's robbed a home run too, like 2 nights ago or 3 nights ago. So it's somebody who has a great real baseball profile and an above average fantasy baseball profile. We try to separate those two worlds because sometimes it's what we have. You know, like we just talked about Triston Casas a little while ago, right? He was a great real life baseball player in the minors. In the majors early, hitting doubles, whatever, but that wasn't a fantastic fantasy baseball profile. We knew it was coming, but that wasn't what we had. Sal Frelick, as of now, has a great slash line, great real life baseball player. I think he's above average right now at best for fantasy. But I still think he can make an impact on a lot of different rosters, especially as a 4th outfielder or as your DH / extra player person, whatever you're using as that signifier. Jason, do you agree with me here, or you see Sal Frelick as somebody better or worse than that?
No, I mean, I've added him in a few leagues. I think the biggest thing with him is going to offer you some speed, right? A lot of times right now this time of year, we're looking for specific categories that you might be able to climb up some of those roto ranks, and stolen base is always one of those. Feels like one of those stats that I'm always chasing. Frelick, last year across 3 levels, stole 24 bases. He had 8 stolen bases this year at AAA. The biggest thing about him too is he gets on base, right? He was walking more than he's striking out right now. He does not strike out at all, barely. He's got great bat to ball skills, great eye at the plate, great approach. And guess what? He already has 8 runs scored in his first 6 games of the season this year so far. So if you're looking for, ratios, stolen bases, and runs scored, this guy is your guy. I mean, this is what he brings to the table. It's what he's been doing his whole minor league career. He's continuing that transition right now into the majors. So if he's available in your league, especially in deeper, like 4 or 5 outfielder leagues, he absolutely needs to be not only rostered, but probably in your starting lineup, because get him in there now while he's hot and he's, the pitching hasn't adjusted to his swing yet.
I've liked so far that you have somebody in the background that has really been punctuating some of your points. I don't know if you've noticed, but your dog barks right when you make like a really good point.
Yeah.
And so I think that's, I'm a huge dog lover, so don't get me wrong, but I think it's even better that you have him trained to be like, yeah, you heard what he said. Take it. So
people listening, they know when a good point was made.
Exactly. All right. So we're going from, so I know you probably heard in my voice, right? We've gone from somebody I'm excited about, extremely excited about with Casas to, I'm South Frelick's awesome, but in fantasy, I'm kind of, and then I'm really kind of just whatever about this next guy. Jose Quintana, look, I get it. And again, we're highlighting him for a couple of reasons, right? Ownership percentage, the fact that people need players, and we'll talk about him a little bit more on his stats. But nothing I love more than when official Twitter, team Twitters, kind of poke at other teams. And so NBC White Sox at White Sox Talk on Twitter. So Jose Quintana was on the mound today. This is on July 20th. And then they write, did the White Sox or Cubs win the trade for Jose Quintana? Just to remind you, back on July 13th, 2017, the Cubs got Jose Quintana. Tell me if you think the White Sox got enough for Jose Quintana. They got Dylan Cease, Eloy Jimenez, Bryant Fleet, and Matt Rose. Obviously, the last two we don't care about. Let's just talk about the Jose Quintana for Cease and Jimenez. Jason, would you have made that trade?
You're bringing up some bad mojo here. This one.
Why is that? Why is that, Jason?
Oh, I don't know. Dylan Cease is like a top 10 pitcher in the Quintana barely did anything with the Cubs.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I know you're a Cubs fan, but we've been picking on the A's for nonstop, and I thought that would be a little fun. Sorry. No. Don't throw things at me. Okay, so Jose Quintana, yay! So Jose Quintana's with the Mets now. Yay. So, he hasn't been the same pitcher that he was. 2021, I think, is the last time we kind of saw flashes of that pitcher that can give you around 10 Ks per nine. Right now, he's with 2 games started, both losses. He's pitched 11 innings, and he has a 6.55 Ks per nine with about 2.5 almost a walk per nine as well. He hasn't given up a home run. Yay. But much of it's kind of yeeks. Even though his ERA is at 3.27, his expected ERA, meaning they take all the stats and everything that's going on, is of over 4. I'm trying, Jason. I know I'm supposed to, be a team player here. I'm trying. Unless your team's decimated, I don't add Jose Quintana. But I get it, especially the Mets are so bad right now. Yeah. Tell me, Jason, help me out. Help me tell people Jose Quintana.
I mean, you're right. I mean, unless you're like deep leagues, desperate for pitching, he could probably stay on the waiver. But we know that people are out there that do play in deep leagues. They do need starting pitching. And as of right now, I mean, he is serviceable. So there's that. He's a 2-start pitcher this week. Yep. He gets Kansas City and Baltimore, which aren't the greatest, but aren't the worst matchups either. He did have really good ratios last year. That's about all he really helped with last year. I don't know if he can, mimic those ratios again this year. However, again, if you're in a deep league, you're desperate for pitching, why not throw out a Quintana in a 2-start week this week and see what happens? And if he gets rocked in these 2 starts, then, chalk it up and find somebody else next. Watch video next week, and we'll give you a new pitcher.
And I'll make you apologize to everybody for Quintana-ing them. We should make that a verb. I like that. Let's make that a verb.
I'm starting them this week in one of my deep leagues. I might regret it, but we were talking about names last night, and wait a minute. I think Quintana's unowned in this deep league. Let me go check it out. Sure enough, I picked him up, and I'm like, all right, let's start him. I guess it all depends, too, right? Like, if you're in a roto league.
But how deep are you talking, Jason? Just so they know.
Sure, 15-team league, 5 outfielders,
100%.
9 pitchers, whether it be starters or relievers.
Right, yeah. So 100%. Yeah, if you're in a 12-plus league and he's available, grab him.
Yeah. But again, we're at this point of year now, too, where if you're in a roto league, he's not going to destroy your ratios. Right. But a category league or a head-to-head league, I may caution you a little bit more versus like a roto league.
Yeah. Okay. So we're on the last player, second to last player we're going to cover, but the last player that I'm worried about pronouncing his name correctly. So I listened to a lot of videos, and I hope to get this done right. As my dog tries to knock in my door. 1 second, please. There we go. So Edouard Julien. I try my best to do my French accent there. He also speaks 3 languages, just FYI, because I had to find that out while I was looking everywhere to find him pronounce his own name, because I can't trust announcers sometimes, because let's be honest, there's some announcers that, especially on the away broadcasts, that just butcher names. So, the thing with Julien, and we've covered him, internally and on some articles as well, especially I covered him when he got first called up, is I was super excited about the call up. But the thing is that he got sent back down. He's never been kind of allowed to have that consistent playing time or that consistent feel like he was going to be able to kind of fight through any problems that he might have had. He filled in for Kyle Farmer, Donovan Solano. So again, he's been up, he's been back. And now that he's taken over for Jorge Polanco in the 33 games since his recall, and this is, again, a couple days ago, so the stats aren't exactly right, but 356, 436, and 594 slugging. That includes 9 doubles, 5 home runs. Now, he has 9 home runs for the year with the 154 OPS plus. Again, anything over, 80 is great, but over 100 is fantastic. And he's always been incredibly disciplined at the plate. We've always seen that, both in his minors and the majors, we're looking. I mean, okay, let me take a step back. Yes, if you look at the season stats, he's above 30% on his K rate, 31%, but he's walking 12% of the time. In the minors, it was almost even. It was crazy. It's 18% walk and 24% Ks this year in AAA. His first taste in AAA. It's not like he's repeating himself, right? This first time in AAA, he's putting up those kind of numbers. He's ready. So he's 205 plate appearances now, 10 home runs, 29 runs scored, and a 543 slugging percentage for a middle infielder who's 24 years old. That'll play. That's going to play again. And his WAR is almost at 2 for somebody who's only played 56 games and have a WAR at 1.9, but almost at 2. Mm-hmm. I know we're not supposed to talk about WAR. I get it, but I want to highlight these pieces because he's a key piece to this lineup. And the fact that they're now looking at maybe putting Jorge Polanco at third, I think they were talking about, he's been playing there for a little bit. They're really looking at finding a way to get Julien have a place in this lineup because he's earned it. And not only has he earned it, but he keeps earning it almost daily. From a fantasy perspective, he's doing everything you want, especially from a second base. Anytime with that middle infield, shortstop, second base, you typically always have like the top 4 or 5. Julian's top 10, easy for me. Without even thinking more about it, top 10 second baseman from a fantasy perspective. Beyond that, I mean, we can start nudging around and start fighting if he 8 or 6 or whatever, but definitely top 10. And there's no reason he should be under 50%. It's just insane. Jason, why aren't people loving some Julien? Julien.
I want to take this time right here to plead my case to the Twins front office. Please, please find him a spot in the lineup, or keep him in the lineup. Stop sending him back down to the minors. He belongs in the majors. He has done everything that you need him to do as not only a starting second baseman, but for fantasy purposes, he's been great for us. He uses the whole field. He's got 5 opposite field home runs. He's got a 30% opposite hit rate. Both his ex-Woba and his ex-Wobacon are both above league average. And then I know it's a small sample because obviously they keep manipulating him and sending him down. Right. But his 159 WRC plus ranks number 1 among all second basemen with at least 150 plate appearances. Wow, that's got to tell you something, right? I mean, when he's up and when he's playing, he's been great. He's got 15 home runs since the season, since being. I don't get what more do they need to see from him that they will stop sending him down? Because I've already been burnt a couple times where they send him down like midweek. Right. And I have him in my weekly lineup. I'm like, what are we doing here? And he's producing. It's like just find this guy a spot, and you should find him a spot on your lineups too, because second base, like I said, he's probably, like you said, I'd probably call him a top 5 second baseman right now.
Yeah, I was not even. It was just a matter of like I could easily see top 10, no problem, without even thinking more about it. I was like, beyond that, I was like, then I have to really kind of put some thought process into it. But yeah, definitely, 100%. I don't. You probably have a really solid argument for him to be top 5 right now. I don't even want to kind of put the brain power into it right now. But yeah, for sure, definitely would get some Julien in your league. All right, our final name. And here's the thing, we've gone further than we normally do here, just frankly because we want to help you out. Like we said, it's kind of this season part where you're trying to look for all the names you can. And on bad teams, hitters that are young are having a chance to get plate appearances. You really want to look after those young hitters that are just killing it right now, especially on bad teams, because they're probably not going to be picked up on waivers like this person isn't. And, frankly, he's going to have playing time. CJ Abrams is a huge part of the Nationals' future. Aram Lighton on Aram Lighton 8 on Twitter. CJ Abrams' last 30 games. Now, this is on July 26th. So, again, some of the numbers are just slightly off. 330 average, 377 on base percentage, and 536 slugging. That puts you around 900 plus OPS. Crazy for 30 games. On top of that, 4 home runs, 13 extra base hits, 14 for 14 stolen bases, and an 18% K rate. Look, everything I just said screams fantasy baseball, right? Home runs, extra base hits, stolen bases. And he's only 22 years old. I mean, he's everything that the Nationals wanted. The thing is that if you look at kind of his minor league repertoire, he went from rookie to A ball when he was 18. He played his year 20 season because of COVID, his year 19 season, but year 20 season in Double A. 21 is in Triple A in both San Diego and then Washington, and then he went to the majors. He barely had any development in the minors, and so he's getting a lot of his development now in the majors. And we're seeing somebody who doesn't walk a ton right now. I'm saying right now because, even the minors, he's at above 5%. Right now he's at 1.7%, which is just silly. But he's not K'ing a ton either. At 16.6%, that's super okay with me. I would prefer a little bit of walks, but if you can keep your strikeout percentage below 20% and have the rest of his line, I'm totally fine with that. But I think that's going to come. He's had 300 plate appearances, just over 300 plate appearances in 90 games, 2 home runs, 33 runs scored, 21 RBIs. And again, we've already talked about the stolen bases. But when you look at all these kind of numbers that he has, he's a stud. Oh, you know what? I gave you last year's. Sorry about that. Yeah. Sorry about that. Just kidding. Last year was 1.7. Sorry, 4.6 this year. But the point's still the same. He did 10 home runs. I apologize. My God. And 21 stolen bases. Yeah. This is why, Jason, we don't wait to have the stud at the end because my coffee starts wearing off. My apologies. So just ignore everything I just said. So yeah, 10 home runs, 51 runs scored, 41 RBIs, 21 stolen bases, which makes a lot more sense after we talked about the heater that he's on. 4.6 walks, not that much better than 1.7, honestly. But again, 20.9% K rate, and this is with 368 plate appearances. So, honestly, and his WRC plus is at 94. Again, anything above 80 typically is really good, and we're almost at 100. He's doing everything you'd want, and he's 22 with, frankly, just barely any minor league experience. I love the guy. I want to give him a hug. I want to give him a hug. I want to put him on every one of my fantasy teams. And frankly, Jason, what was his ownership percentage?
It's getting close. It's like just slightly over 50%. So still, if 45% of leagues out there, he's unowned.
Under 80%, it would have been stupid. But the fact that he's still under 50% is criminal. Honestly, at this point, Yahoo, Fantrax, all those places should just go in and be like, look, you haven't picked up Casas in your league, if you still have Abrams on the waiver wires and things of that nature, we're just shutting your league down because at this point, I just don't get it. Or Julien, right? So other than me saying just the wrong stats, what other things should they know, Jason, about Abrams?
Not much. I mean, other than small slip up, but that's okay. He's been quietly had a great month of July. That's really kind of inflated his stats that you looked at just now.
Right.
He's had 12 of those 21 stolen bases came in the month of July.
Wow.
He's had 3 home runs, 21 runs scored, and he's only striking out 14% of the time in July. This was a guy that came over in that Juan Soto trade. He was a number one, I think, at some sites, number one overall prospect in all of baseball. He's kind of, again, it's only 22, and he's putting up these numbers now. Not all prospect progression is linear. Sometimes, the guys go up and down a little bit, and you got to kind of sit through it. But I think we're getting to the point now where he should be owned in even shallow, redraft leagues because he's kind of showing what we saw him do at the minors, and that's steal a lot of bases and, get those run totals. So the fact that he's unowned at 45% is actually kind of crazy. I don't know what else to say. I think we're also getting to the point too, where the point of the year where a lot of people are kind of switching over to football, right? So this could be, some of the reasons why some of the guys are lowly owned is half your league's not even paying attention to their lineup anymore or their waiver wires. So take it as an opportunity for you, right? If you're still, paying attention, grab these guys. You guys are, free for you right now if half your league's not even paying attention, because that's what it seems like.
Yep, absolutely. All right. So next week, I will tell you the right stats for the right players. Jason and I will be back to make fun of our two teams, the Cubs and the A's, and we'll find other ways to hopefully help you win. As always, please reach out to us on Twitter, Discord, our phone numbers, whatever. Just, reach out to us. We're happy to answer questions. We're happy to disagree. We're happy to kind of just interact. We love talking baseball. So please reach out to us however you can. And thank you, as always, for watching. We appreciate it. We'll see you here next week.